40 real estate test questions related to the practice of real estate and mandated disclosures. The format of this video is going to be 10 question block, a little break, 20 question block, a little break, and then 10 questions to close it out. If you've been on the channel, you know who I am. If you haven't, my name's Darren Sy. I'm a licensed real estate agent and loan officer in California, and I recently passed my broker exam, and I used the test questions from Calibri. That's what these questions are from. It's an online real estate school, and I actually used them for all 3 of my tests, and I passed all those tests on my first try. So if you want to use the same resources I did to pass my exams on the first try, there's a link in the description below. Just full disclosure, that link is an affiliate link, so I get paid a little bit if you decide to purchase something, and I stand by their test prep because I passed all my stuff on the first try. So let's hit these first 10 questions. Question number 1. What does the broker need to do when a salesperson is fired for cause? A. Warn the salesperson's new broker. B. Inform the local board of realtors. C. Notify the Department of Labor. D. Send the commissioner a certified written statement of facts. Correct answer here is D. Send the commissioner a certified written statement of facts. I think I actually saw this question on my broker's exam as well. Question number 2. All of the following could happen to an agent who does not comply with agency disclosure law except A. Be disciplined. B. Provide grounds for either party to rescind. C. Not receive commission. D. Get paid all of the commission. Correct answer is D. Get paid all of the commission. Only disclosing dual agency to one party and not the other is a violation of agency law. Now, the agent can be disciplined, not receive commission, or the parties could rescind. Question number 3. When a person passes the state license exam, how long do they have to apply for a license? A. 1 week. B. 6 months. C. 1 year. D. 30 days. The correct answer here is C. 1 year. So after you pass the exam, you do have 1 year to apply for the license. In my intro, I don't say that I'm a real estate broker just yet because my license is being processed. I've already passed the exam, but they're processing the license. I highly recommend, at least in California, when you apply for the exam, I recommend you apply for the license at the same time. So once you pass, they start processing your license right away. And on top of that, if you have questions about the licensing process, I'm actually going to share a link directly to the California DRE licensing website and another video that I made showing you the process of how to get your real estate license. Question number 4. What does the Alquist-Priolo Act disclose? A. Soil contamination levels. B. Noise pollution zones. C. Location of earthquake fault lines on a map. D. Areas of high radon gas. The correct answer is C. Location of earthquake fault lines on a map. Question number 5. Any employee who is authorized by broker to make withdrawals from the trust account must be A. A notary. B. Bonded by escrow. C. Fidelity bonded. D. An independent contractor. Correct answer here is C. Fidelity bonded. Now that we're about halfway through the questions, I want to share a quick study tip because I get a lot of emails asking similar questions. And one of the questions is, how much time do I spend studying vocabulary and words and the chapter summaries versus like just doing test questions? And my personal strategy for passing the test was studying these test questions as much as possible. I used a software called CompuCram that I got through Calibri. As I mentioned before, the link below to that is down below. And I would just do these test practice questions until I got 90% on the simulated exams. And for every question that I got wrong, I would just jot down the notes. So spend most of your time studying the questions that will be most similar to the exam. Okay, now let's dive back into the test questions. Question number 6. A seller client is liable for the acts of everyone except A. The listing broker. B. The listing agent. C. Their own real estate attorney. D. The buyer's agent. Correct answer is D. The buyer's agent. Now you might be wondering, why are they liable for all these other people? Now they are hiring those other people to act on their behalf. They have an agency relationship with them. The only person they don't have an agency relationship with would be the buyer's agent. Question number 7. Which of the following is not an exemption under the Federal Fair Housing Act? A. An owner-occupied dwelling of 4 units or less being sold without the aid of a broker agent. B. A church selling its church grounds with the help of a broker. C. Rental of a unit in a duplex where the owner lives in the other unit. D. Sale by owner of a single-family home without using a broker. Correct answer here is B. A church selling its church grounds with the help of a broker. Now, the reason why this is because an exemption exists only if the property is for sale by owner. And so in all these other examples, there's no broker involved. right? The sale of the church property is exempt only if no broker was involved, but here there is a broker. Question number 8. Who would use the term realtist? A member of the National Association of Realtors. B, a member of the Women's Councils of Realtors. C, a member of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. D, a licensed appraiser. Correct answer is C, a member of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. Question number 9. Which of the following are considered untrue statements made without facts to back them up? A, fraudulent misrepresentation. B, innocent misrepresentation. C, negligent misrepresentation. D, puffing. Correct answer here is C, negligent misrepresentation. When an agent makes an untrue statement without facts to back it up, the agent may not be aware of the misrepresentation, but they may still be liable. So this is what we call negligent misrepresentation. I would definitely spend some time learning what these phrases mean. If you know the definitions of words, you're going to get easy points on your test. Question number 10. An agent shows a for sale by owner property to a customer. The agent prepares the offer. Seller accepts the offer under the condition that the seller holds the good faith deposit. The agent must A, deposit the check in the non-interest bearing depository. B, return the check to the buyer. C, present the offer and give the check to the seller with both parties' consent. D, destroy the check to avoid liability. Correct answer here, C, present the offer and give the check to seller with both parties' consent. Now, here's the reason. So a broker can only follow the instructions of the client, but cannot give the money to either party without written consent of both parties. Okay, so that wraps up our 10 questions. But because I love you and I want to see you pass your exam, I'm giving you a bonus question. Question number 11. While taking calls, an agent receives a call for another agent. The agent taking the call tells the caller the agent is not in and offers to help the caller. After making an appointment to show a property, the agent and the caller intended to talk to with comes to the front desk and lets the floor agent know they're expecting a call. What should that floor agent do? A, let the agent know about the mistake. Tell them about the call. B, show the property. The agent should have said something sooner. C, call the client, cancel the appointment. D, keep the lead since the other agent didn't answer. Correct answer is A, let the agent know about the mistake and tell them about the call. So obviously we want to do what's right, want to be good people, and we want to be ethical in the way we act. So the agent should let the other agent know about the mistake. And obviously, if this agent deliberately took the other agent's call, that broker might consider terminating the agent. Now that we've gone through the first 10, pause the video, go through the ones that you got right, go through the ones that you got wrong, and make sure you take some notes to help you prep for your exam. Now that you've done that, let's go through the next 20 questions. Question number 1. An agent is required to disclose a death in the home if it occurred within A, 1 year, B, 2 years, C, 3 years, D, 5 years. Correct answer, C, 3 years. This one you probably will see in your real estate career. A lot of the times you will see death disclosures on properties. Question number 2. Which of the following is not a protected class under the 1968 Federal Fair Housing Act? A, race. B, religion. C, handicap. D, age. Correct answer is D, age. Race, religion, color, sex, national origin, handicap, and family status are all protected classes under the Civil Rights Act of 1968. Age is not a protected class under this act. I think you'll probably see this one on the exam or something related to the 1968 Federal Fair Housing Act. So get to know that one pretty good. Take notes on what each of these acts covers and does not cover. Sometimes it's easier to just remember what it doesn't cover, but you'll probably see a question similar to this on your exam. Question number 3, an agent advertises a property for sale for $120,000. When any potential buyer arrives for a showing, the agent says that the price has just been raised to $160,000. Wow, this agent really out here hustling. The agent is guilty of A, price fixing, B, false advertising, C, market allocation, D, blockbusting. Correct answer here is B, false advertising. So this is typically what's called a bait and switch. Going back to what I just said for question number 2, this kind of applies to question number 3 as well. Just make sure you understand what things agents are allowed to say and do, and what actions are not allowed or prohibited is the term you'll see a lot on the test based on these fair housing acts. Question number 4, how long does a landlord have to return the unused portion of a tenant's security deposit? A, 10 days, B, 14 days, C, 21 days, D, 30 days. Correct answer here is C, 21 days. Landlords must return the unused portion of a security deposit within 21 days of termination. So this one's pretty relevant in the real world, especially if you're a property manager. Question number 5. When working with someone other than a client, a licensee may A, disclose information that is public record. B, fill out a blank land deed installment contract. C, draft a deed of trust. D, refuse to cooperate with other licensees. Correct answer is A, disclose information that is public record. Make sure you know what agents are allowed and prohibited to do. Question number 6. All of the following people need a license to practice real estate except A, a person paid to solicit buyers. B, a property manager negotiating leases. C, a trustee selling under a deed of trust. D, a real estate assistant hosting open houses. Correct answer C, a trustee selling under a trust deed. Just as a general rule here, any negotiating or soliciting for a fee requires a license. Question number 7. A contract in which something remains to be done by one or both parties is best described as A, bilateral contract, B, unilateral contract, C, executed contract, D, executory contract. Correct answer is D, executory contract. So I would suggest you know what each of these contract means and the responsibilities of each party in that contract. If you get a question this easy that you just need to know the definition, great. But sometimes they do ask a little bit more details of whose responsibility it is. So make sure you understand these contracts well. Question number 8. Which act prohibits discrimination in housing transactions? A, the UNRRA Civil Rights Act. B, the Rumford Act. C, the Civil Rights Act of 1866. D, the Sherman Antitrust Act. Correct answer is B, the Rumford Act. The Rumford Act, found in California's Health and Safety Code, prohibits discrimination in housing transactions. So I recently passed my broker exam, and the way I studied for it was whenever I saw something with these acts, I would write down what that act was related to. So for example, the Sherman Antitrust Act, I know that's related to monopolies, right? They're going to have these keywords when you're studying and you're taking notes or going through the chapter summaries. Make sure you know what these acts apply to and the main reason behind them. Speaking of acts, question number 9. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 established which of the following as a protected class? A, gender. B, disability. C, race. D, age. Correct answer here is C, race. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 prohibits discrimination based on race, color, and ancestry. So as I mentioned in the last question, I recently passed my broker exam on my first try, and I used a learning platform called Calibri. I used their CompuCram and their study materials to pass my exam on the first try. That's where these questions come from. If you want your own test bank of questions and test prep, there's a link in my description. Full disclosure, it's an affiliate link, so you are supporting my channel. I get paid a little bit if you decide to go through with it, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't put it there if I didn't stand by it, and I used them to pass all 3 of my exams: my salesperson's license, my loan officer license, and most recently my broker's license, to pass on the first try for all 3. All right, let's get back to studying here. Question number 10, which of the following could a real estate agent lawfully prepare? Oh, we had the opposite earlier. A general warranty deed. B, a lease agreement longer than 1 year. C, a land sales contract. D, none of the above. Correct answer, none of the above. And the reason is all of these documents should be prepared by an attorney at law, aka a lawyer. Okay, so we're halfway through the video. This would be a good time for you to review, see the ones you got right, check out the ones you got wrong, take a couple quick notes, go ahead, pause the video, get some water, come back. And now let's get through the next 10 questions here. Question number 11. What should an agent use as guidelines to determine if an action is ethical? A, the Fair Housing Act. B, the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, RESPA. C, Business and Professions Code. D, the Department of Real Estate Handbook. Correct answer here is C, Business and Professions Code. Every licensee should be familiar with California's Business and Professions Code, which provides suggestions and guidelines for agents. When I was doing my practice exams, I actually got this one wrong for the first time. But after I got it wrong, I wrote this down, and now I'll never forget that I need to follow the Business and Professions Code. Question number 12. A real estate agent owns a professional responsibility to the public to A, disclose a client's confidential information. B, file the deed to the county recorder's office. C, treat all parties to a transaction honestly and fairly. D, ensure the buyer gets financing. Correct answer here is C, treat all parties to a transaction honestly and fairly. Question number 13. A contract to sell rural properties requires which of the following? A, an appraisal. B, legal description. C, tax assessment. D, parcel number. If you don't know what these four answers mean, please go learn these definitions. That will help you pass the exam. Question number 14. Which law mandates how much a real estate broker can charge for commission? A, California state law. B, federal law. C, local association policy. D, there's no such laws. This would be a violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. Correct answer is D, there's no such laws, as this would be a violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. So the Sherman Antitrust Act prohibits both price fixing and market fixing in real estate. And this basically means all commissions are negotiable, and they always have been. Question number 15. What properties are touched and concerned with agency disclosure law? A, all property. B, only commercial buildings. C, 4 family units or less. D, 5 units or more. Correct answer here is C, 4 family units or less. So I personally got this question wrong many times. I used to think it was all property. But when it comes to agency disclosure law, it only applies to residential properties, which is 4 family units or less. Commercial properties, they're assuming that the buyers and sellers, the parties involved, are typically more savvy, and they are going to have their own legal teams. Question number 16. A real estate firm has an in-house title company, mortgage broker, and home inspection company under one business entity. They got it all, baby. This is allowed only if A, there's no duty to disclose these relationships. B, the consumer signs a waiver. C, control business arrangements are clearly disclosed to the consumer, and the consumer is aware that other providers are available. D, each service is optional at closing. So the correct answer here is C. Basically, if you disclose to the consumer and they're aware they can pick other service providers, it's allowed. Question number 17. All the following documents must be approved by the real estate commissioner prior to use except A, a listing agreement. B, a purchase agreement. C, independent contractor agreement. D, agency disclosure form. Correct answer here is C, independent contractor agreement. All those other forms, there are standard California Association of Realtor forms that most of us use. And so documents executed with clients pretty much just need to be approved by the Department of Real Estate. Question number 18. Which of the following transactions requires agency disclosure? A, the sale of a commercial office. B, the sale of a retail plaza. C, the sale of an amusement park. D, the sale of a duplex. Correct answer here is sale of a duplex. As mentioned in the previous question, every residential transaction requires the disclosure. Once again, commercial properties do not. Question number 19. Which of the following is a violation of the California Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct? A, puffing. B, offering a rebate with disclosure. C, telling a seller their home is worth more than it is in order to get a listing. D, refusing to co-list. Correct answer is C. Telling a seller their home is worth more than it is just in order to get a listing is a violation. Last question, question number 20. A salesperson presents a full price offer from a financially qualified black prospect. Later, the salesperson's broker presents a lower offer to the same seller from a white prospect. The seller accepts neither of these contracts, but sells to a neighbor through the same salesperson and broker, who decides to buy the house to prevent the black prospect from purchasing the property next door to them. Which of the following parties would not be subject to liability under the Federal Fair Housing Act of 1968? A, the neighbor. B, the salesperson. C, the seller. D, the white prospect. Correct answer here is D, the white prospect. No one is allowed to do discrimination. The neighbor, the salesperson, and the seller were all a part of this discrimination plan. and thus they are subject to liability under the Federal Fair Housing Act of 1968. The only person that wouldn't be liable is the other white prospect. They just submitted an offer. They had nothing to do with this devious plan. So yeah, make sure you know all these different acts and what they cover. And if you've stayed to the end, I got a nice little treat for you. I got a bonus question, question number 21. Alfred and Allie buy a 10-year-old home and have tested it for radon prior to closing. The test results in an average reading of 4.8 PCI/L. Under federal law, is the seller required to mitigate the home? A, yes, federal law dictates mitigation over 4.0 PCI/L. B, yes, if state law mandates it. C, no, unless agreed upon in the contract between buyer and seller. D, no, because radon mitigation is optional. Correct answer here is C, no, unless it's agreed upon in the contract. So there's actually no federal laws regarding radon mitigation, but the federal government does recommend mitigation on homes that test over that 4.0. But at the end of the day, it's up to the buyer and seller and what they agree on. Okay, let's wrap up with these last 10. Question number 1. The fiduciary duty of loyalty requires that A, the agent obey each and every request of the principal. B, the agent disclose confidential information to other parties. C, the agent hold the principal's interests above all other interests. D, the agent arrange financing for the principal. Correct answer here is C, the agent hold the principal's interest above all other interests. Obviously, the agent is obligated to obey only lawful requests from the principal, and they must always put the principal's interest first. Question number 2. What would we call a broker who exercises their option to purchase some land? A, an optionee. B, an optioner. C, a principal. D, a trustee. Correct answer is C, principal. When the broker becomes a buyer or seller, they are required to disclose that they are the principal. Question number 3. Which of the following properties could not be depreciated on a federal income tax return? A, a duplex. B, a single family residence in which one resides. C, a commercial strip mall. D, a rental condo. Correct answer here is B, a single family residence in which one resides. Depreciation only applies to investment properties, not your personal residence. Question number 4. What does the Alquist-Priolo Act disclose? A, soil contamination levels. B, noise pollution zones. C, location of earthquake fault lines on a map. D, areas of high radon gas. Correct answer here is C, location of earthquake fault lines on a map. So I do recommend spending some time understanding what each act that you hear about, what's the main topic it covers, or what's the main disclosure associated with it. Those are really easy points for you to get. Question number 5. In a suit brought under the Federal Fair Housing Law as amended, punitive damages may be as much as A, $10,000, B, $50,000, C, $100,000, D, there is no limit on punitive damages. Correct answer is D, there's no limit on punitive damages. While HUD may fine someone for a fair housing violation, there's no cap on punitive damage that a court can award. All right, so we're halfway through the test questions. We've gone through number 5. Just a few quick study tips because I get asked these questions a lot. I would focus most of my time practicing these test questions, and you want to get about 90% on the simulated practice exams. That's what I've always done, and I passed all of my exams on the first try. As mentioned before, if you don't have access to these test questions, there's a link below that you can use, and you can go ahead and purchase your own simulated exams. And after you practice those simulated exams, make sure you take notes on the ones that you didn't really know the answer, and the ones that you got wrong. That's been a main strategy that I've used that's helped tremendously. Okay, let's get back to studying here. Question number 6. What language in an ad is prohibited by the California Real Estate Commissioner? A, call us today for more information. B, call 1-800-4A-LOAN. C, call our office for a free consultation. D, call for available listings. Correct answer here is B, call 1-800-4A-LOAN. Now, the commissioner prohibits any advertising that makes buyers think they can obtain a loan over the phone. So that's why B is the correct answer. Question number 7. On a listing appointment, the agent tells the seller he cannot accept less than the commission stated in the listing agreement because it's against the law. A short time after the listing begins, a ready, willing, and able buyer makes an acceptable offer to the seller. What could happen to the agent? A, the agent will forfeit the commission. B, the seller can terminate the agreement. C, the buyer may file a complaint. D, the agent will be subject to disciplinary action. Correct answer here is D. Agent will be subject to disciplinary action. So all commissions are negotiable here. The agent can only say that his broker won't let them lower the commission, but they cannot say that it's against the law. And in reality, this agent is actually facing up to a $10,000 fine and up to 6 months in prison for lying about this. Question number 8. When a person passes the state license exam, how long do they have to apply for a license? A, 1 week, B, 6 months, C, 1 year, D, 30 days. Correct answer here is C, 1 year. So when a person passes their exam, they have 1 year to apply for the license. I personally highly recommend that when you apply for your exam, you apply for the license at the same time. If you need help going through this process, there's a link down below to a video that I made showing how you get your real estate license and go through the e-licensing process. And I've also included a link to the California DRE website directly. Question number 9. Which of the following are considered untrue statements made without facts to back them up? A, fraudulent misrepresentation. B, innocent misrepresentation. C, negligent misrepresentation. D, puffing. Correct answer here is C, negligent misrepresentation. So when an agent makes an untrue statement without facts to back it up, the agent may not be aware of this misrepresentation, but they could still be liable. And this is what we call negligent misrepresentation. Question number 10. If an investigation determines a violation of the Rumford Act, an owner can be made to do all of the following except A, pay damages, B, offer the next available unit, C, complete the rental or sale, D, the owner must convey title to the victim. Correct answer is D, the owner must convey title to the victim. Now, if you're in violation of an act, it doesn't make sense to have to give your property to the potential tenant, but all these other remedies do make sense, right? Pay damages, offer the next available unit, or complete the rental or sale. It just, answer D makes the most sense. So now that we're done with the questions, we've gone through all 10, I have included a bonus because I care about you and I want to see you do well on the exam. So question number 11, bonus. An employee who is authorized by broker to make withdrawals from the trust account must be A, licensed, B, a notary, C, fidelity bonded, D, a certified bookkeeper. Correct answer here is C, fidelity bonded. So if you liked studying with me, there's a link to another video that has 40 question compilation as well. As always, thanks for studying with me. I hope you pass your exam on the first try. And after you pass, drop a comment sharing your success.